it's recording. Okay, now let's start. Just open a Word file. Well, today, last class, we studied infinitive construction, and I checked your material. I see that you totally understand what's infinitive construction, how to use it. You had minor mistakes, but it was not about infinitive. Just two things that I want to tell you. If you use infinitive as a subject, then it's better to use it with ing, okay? And if you use infinitive as a reason adverbial in terms of purpose, then use in order to or so as to. Okay, don't use for. For is primitive. Okay, in the last class, we said that we have different. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Share your desktop, please.
I haven't shared. Okay, hold on. Okay, can you see now?
Yeah, it's better now.
All right. Okay. In our previous class, we have studied that we have 5 different types of object. Am I right?
Yeah.
This was our sentence structure. We said that we have a particular sentence structure in English where we can use subject, verb, object, and adverbial at the end. And we have 4 types of different adverbials: place, time, how, and reason adverbial. And we also have 5 different types of object, which means that we can use these 5 different things. When it comes to object, we can use one of them. First, we studied the easiest one. We said that actually the 5 of them was, can you tell me what were they?
Person.
We can use a person.
Thing.
We can use a thing. We can use
infinitive
construction or infinitive. And they were a complex object. And there were VH clause. Well, these two things actually not that hard to understand. So, what's a complex object? We said that when it comes to a person, we said that, for example, I like a person. I like let's say I like him. I like my car. I like to hang out with you. It's an infinitive construction. And when it comes to complex object, we said that actually except a person, the rest of the objects have the same question. Okay, have the same question what? Wait, whatever you put on the gas stove, it's actually boiling. Yeah. So we have also we have complex object, which the question is also what. So what I'm going to teach you complex object and VH clause today. So let's see how else we can use object in our sentence. So let's talk about complex object first. Well, what is a complex object overall? This is actually very important for some sentences when we create. We cannot use infinitive as a subject. Also, in that point, we can use it as a complex object as a subject, also as an object. So when we say this, we say his house, right? Or when we say my car, right? But what about the verbs with a smile? If I want to say onun gitmeyi, how can I translate this? So obviously we cannot say he is going. Yeah. Or onun terk etmeyi. We cannot say his abandoning or leaving. It's not the right way of saying using verb before a pronoun. Well, we can do it with the nouns, but we cannot do it with the verb. So for this case, we use complex object. When we want to say onun gitmeyi, then we use an objective pronoun or any noun. Mostly it happens with the pronouns. And then infinitive. What? No, nothing. And then infinitive. For example, If we say onun gitmeyi, we say, instead of saying he is going, we say him to go. That's how we create it. Or if we say onun terk etmeyi, we say her to abandon. So obviously we use an objective pronoun here, which means objective pronouns means like me, you, him, her, them, us, then infinitive, right? And you can also use some other nouns or pronouns before infinitive. So obviously when it's object before infinitive, we put someone, or if we want somebody, we involve the third person into our sentence, and that's how we create complex object. So when I say I like to drink this, right? Which means I like to drink this. I, not everybody else. But if I involve somebody here, then I make a complex object. I say I like you to drink this. So you to drink means senin içmeyin. Senin bunu içmeyeni hoşluyorum, right? If I say he likes to play, which means oynama hoşluyor. But if I say he likes my dog to play, so how can you translate this?
Benim itimin oynamağını hoşlayır.
Yeah. So this is called complex object. So complex object basically it's an object and infinitive. Of course, after this infinitive, if you want to continue your sentence, you can create infinitive construction like play with what, where, when, how. You can make it longer. But before that, we have a complex object. When you ask the question, when you say he likes what, then you say he likes to my dog to play. He likes what? He likes my dog to play. Right? Also, you can use objective pronouns, you can use nouns here, but make sure if your verb is an emotional verb, not a physical verb. We said that after physical verbs we use to, but after emotional verbs we use ing, right? It happens with complex object as well. If your verb is emotional, right, then you have to use ing but not to. For example, I enjoy my dog playing with me. So you don't say to play, you say playing with me because your verb enjoy is an emotional verb. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Also, there are 5 verbs like make, see, hear, notice, let. These, after these verbs, we never use to or ing. Okay? If you have this, you're gonna keep your infinitive without to or ing. Right? For example, I make her dance. So you don't say I make her to dance, you say I make her dance. Okay? Make sure that make, see, notice, hear, and there are also some other verbs you will be familiar.
But I learned that we can use see, hear, notice, and ing we can also use.
We can use
after the make and let, we can use ing. We just say come, write, play.
After see, yes, you can use ing, but you cannot use to. Make, let, we only use the zero infinitive. It's called zero infinitive. But after see, for example, I see him dancing. This is actually not infinitive. This is P1. I will teach you this. I will teach you this in the future. This is not infinitive. This is P1. P1 also is with the ing. So it's not the same thing. When it comes to infinitive, we can only use zero infinitive without ing or to. But when it comes to P1, it means onu raks ederek görürüm. I see him dancing. I see him dancing means dancing here means arak erek P1. I will teach you this. When I'll teach you that, I'll tell you the difference between them. But when it comes to object, when it comes to infinitive, we can only use zero infinitive. Okay? All right. For example, I hear them fighting. Fighting here doesn't mean dalaşmak. Okay, this is not like this is not like infinitive. This is P1, and we can use ing in terms of using P1, not infinitive. Okay, Okay. Also, I want to teach you one more thing. It's very important too. Me to smile. Did you understand generally what's complex object?
Yeah. Also, I can use the I hear them fight. Yeah.
I hear them fight. Yes, I hear them fight. Onların dalaşmağını eşidirəm deməkdir. It's infinitive. I hear them fighting. Yani onların hal-hazırda dalaşdıqlarını eşidir. Yani onları dalaşarak eşidirəm. How can I explain it to you? Like it's not it when I teach you P1 you will understand what I say. P1 is different than infinitive. It's also with ing, but it's not actually infinitive.
Okay.
So now we know what's complex object. You can use anything in place of noun or pronoun before infinitive. But what actually matters, how can we change our that sentence into a complex object? Which, if we use this in our writings in the future, IELTS writings, this will give you a really nice score. So let's see the conversion of that sentence into a complex object or infinitive construction. So also the sentences with that, the sentences with that also the objects of the sentence, but they're not like different. Either they are infinitive construction or a complex object. For example, the government announced that smoking will be, or smoking has been banned, right? So that here is a conjunction, right? We have subject, we have a verb, and then you can say we have a conjunction, we have another sentence, subject and verb. But I say that has been banned is the object of your sentence. So what is this actually? This is one of the 5 objects. Either it's a complex object or VH clause. So in the future, very near, you're going to start writing essays. When you write an essay, don't write that sentence like this. All the students try to write that sentence, which is not right. Try to replace them with complex object or infinitive construction. How can we do that? If the subjects of both sentences are the same, then it's going to be an infinitive construction when you convert it. If the subjects of the both sentences are different, it's going to be a complex object. Let's see how. The government announced. Okay, when we convert this into a complex object, we take the subject as an object, smoking, and we take the verb as an infinitive construction, just like this. I like you to drink. So in order to turn this sentence into you to drink, we take this smoking, which means you, and to drink has been drunk. We make it to drink, but when we convert the verb of that sentence, we have to be careful with the tense form. If it happened in the past, we have to use the past tense form of infinitive. So before I explain it to you I want you to carefully listen to me. Infinitive, actually, they say that infinitive don't have tenses, but infinitive has 4 tenses. First one is simple, second one is past, third one is continuous, and you can also call perfect tense, but I don't want to call it perfect, but it's okay. Past also called perfect. Okay, but actually let's call it 3. Let's call it simple, past, and continuous. Well, simple is this. What is the verb? Ban. To ban is a simple infinitive. It's in simple tense form. Okay? For example, I want to ban smoking. I want to ban smoking. So here, our infinitive is in simple tense form, right? Uh, which means that generally I want to ban smoking. But the past form of infinitive is this, to have banned. This is not the perfect, but they call it perfect in the grammar book, but I call it past because if something happened in the past with all the perfect and all the past tenses, we use this form of infinitive. For example, my mother is so proud to have given me a birth. Anam məni dünyaya gətirdiyi üçün çox qürurludur, çox özündən fəxr eləyir, right? My mother is so proud that my mother is so proud to have given me a birth. So here, infinitive construction is in past tense form. Why? Because because my mother gave me birth in the past. So if it's in the past, I have to use the past form of infinitive. This is very important. Almost all the students make mistake when it comes to here in the writing section. Continuous, we use it like this, to be banning. To be banning is the continuous form of infinitive. If your that sentence is in continuous tense form, then you're going to use this tense form of infinitive. For example, I enjoy being, okay, let's use banning actually, not drinking. So let's say the government doesn't stop being banning smoking. So I want you to take a close look at this sentence. The government doesn't stop being banning smoking. So we have three INGs back to back. You can ask me, what is this? What is this? What is this? I will tell you that here it's to be. But why ing? Because after stop, we use infinitive with ing. If you read the material, in the infinitive material, stop was one of the verbs that we always have to use ing after them, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we use ing here. Banning, because if it's the continuous form of infinitive, that's why to be banning. Smoking is just smoking. It's a verb. It's a noun. Being banning smoking. So which means that government doesn't stop that they are banning smoking. So they are banning smoking right now. That means that's why we use the continuous form of infinitive construction. In this sentence, we have present perfect. So when we change this, we're going to use this. The government announced smoking to have been banned. But in this sentence, our main verb is in passive voice. So it's also the same for the passive voice infinitive. When we study passive voice with P2, P1, after P1 we will study P2. There I will tell you what is the passive voice. Most likely you know what's passive voice. So, but the passive voice of infinitive is also very important. That's why we use passive voice, but the tense form of infinitive is in the past simple. That's why here, when we convert that sentence into an infinitive or complex subject, we use the infinitive construction, and we have to be careful with the tense form. If it's something that happened in the past, we're going to use the past. If it's something that generally happens, we're going to use simple. If it's something that's still happening right now, we're going to use continuous form. For example, in this sentence, if we convert this infinitive construction into a sentence, that sentence, it will be like this. My mother is so proud that she gave birth to me. Right? It's going to be like this. So if we write it with a that sentence, it will turn out to be like this, but it's still infinitive construction, right? And if it's continuous, that sentence is continuous, then we're going to use to be banning. I will send you the material. This is in the material.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
The first one is infinitive, yeah? You have given me a birth.
This is infinitive construction,
But my mother is so proud that she gave birth to me is
This is
complex object.
no. This is also object.
Mm.
But when you convert that sentence into when you convert it, it can be a complex object or it can be infinitive construction. If the subjects are the same, which means here the subjects are not the same. This is a complex object. Smoking to have been banned. Sigaret seçmeyin lav olunmağı. Just like the same. You to drink. Senin içmeyin. Smoking to have been banned. Sigaret seçmeyin lav olunmağı. Right? It's the same thing, but it's just a
Mhm.
little complicated because there's smoking, there's passive voice. It may be a little hard for you now, but in the future, after you practice these things, you will be very aware of using them. This is complex subject because the subjects of both sentences are not the same. So we have smoking, and then we have government. But in this sentence, the she and my mother are the same people, right? That's why when we convert that sentence, it will become an infinitive construction. Just like this. My mother is so proud to have given me a birth. Understood?
Bunda bunlar aynıydı.
So that sentence, we have the same subject, and when we convert it, it's going to be infinitive construction. Object is going to be infinitive construction. But if in that sentence we have different subjects, object is going to be a complex object. Government announced subject and verb. Government announced what? Smoking to have been banned. It is a complex object in the past simple, not past simple, in the past tense and in the passive voice. In the future, in the IELTS lessons, you will examine sentences from books to me. You will show me everything one by one. What is this? What is that? In which sentence has this infinitive? That's why you will know everything about the sentences. Did you understand the conversion of that sentence into a complex object or infinitive, Mirismail?
Yeah.
Very nice. From now on, when you use an object,
Can you just give me 1 minute? I will note something.
okay. You want to write something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I will send you the material. You can note down
Okay.
some things, but it's also in the material, so you can also read the material. So from now on, when you put for now, because we've studied object different types of objects now, when you put subject and verb, when it comes to object, try to use infinitive or complex object or that sentence. And if you're going to use a that sentence, use a converted that sentence in terms of an infinitive construction or a complex object. Also, if you can, when you ask the question what, try to think about it and try to use it. I don't request you to use this converted complex object in infinitive construction for now because it may be a little different, a little difficult for you for now, but in the future it'll be very easy for you to convert your sentences. But make sure sentence structure is still the same. You have subject, verb, object, and adverbials. After that, you can use adverbials as well. Well, the last object and the last part of this object section is VH clause. Also, in place of object, we can use VH clause. So what is VH clause? VH clause is a sentence in place of object connected to the main sentence using the following conjunctions. We can use how. It's the most common one. We can use what, and you can also use which or where, but most of the time, we can use how and what. For example, I say, I enjoyed what he showed me. Here, what he showed me is an object, but it's a VH clause. Clause means a sentence, which means there is a question word and a sentence How can you translate the sentence for me?
Onun what on mənə belə deyim də I enjoyed what he should. O mənə nə göstərirsə mən əyləndim belə bir şey.
Okay, the actually the main translation is this. Onun mənə what he showed me. I enjoyed what he showed. Onun mənə nə gösterdiğinden haz aldım.
Aha.
Okay, or I remember what you told me. How can you translate this one?
Mənə nə dediyini xatırlayıram.
Yes, nə dediğini. So in the last classes, one lesson is called different words in a sentence. You will see 5, 6, 7 different words in one sentence. I will give you an advanced sentence. You will translate it. There you will see different types of verbs: infinitive, P2, P1, VH clause, with the object. Okay, there you have to you will have the ability to find out which verb is what and then translate it in the right word. So the translation is very important. I remember what you told me. Also, you can say she told me where we met. Translated?
He told me. O mənə harda görüşəcəyimizi dedi.
Görüştüğümüzü. If you translate it görüşeceğimizi, then it will be where we will meet. Okay, you told me where we met. Oh, you told me where we met. All right, so here objects are VH clauses. So also, this is a very nice option to use a VH object when it comes to, but just remember one thing. Objects follows transitive verbs. If your verb is not transitive, don't mind. You cannot use any of these things in your sentence. If your object is intransitive, then you have only adverbial options. But if your verb is transitive, then you can use one of these 5 objects in your sentence. But when it comes to the object section, when I give you subject and verb and ask you to fill the sentence, then when it comes to object, try to find VH clause, complex object, that sentence, or infinitive construction as your object, because it's going to be a beautiful sentence and the sentence is going to be very rich. Okay?
Okay.
Well, this is enough for today. I hope you enjoyed the class. I hope you understood everything I said. I will give you homework. I will give you a lot of exercises to work on these things. Actually, I joined 2 classes with one another because we have less time. Next class I will do the same. But if it's too hard for you, if it's heavy for you, I can still go a little easy on you. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Do you have any question?
No. Thank you.
Do you have any suggestion?